Hello, I'm Amy. Today I would like to talk about the marriage cost in China. In the past 10 years, lots of young people have chosen not to get married, and the marriage rate has been reached a new low. Why? Because of the high house price, the high bread price, and the high cost of having a baby and raising a children. Today I just want to talk about the high bread price. I guess lots of people already heard the high bread price in China. In our history, we did have a bread price and dowry traditional custom. And in the ancient times, when the people get married, they had a very complicated process. But this kind of customer is just for the wealthy family and officials, not applies to the ordinary people. Because those days, most ordinary people were very, very poor. And it is different with nowadays. In the ancient times, normally when people get married, the woman's family give a big amount of dowry, and the dowry even used to support the husband's studying and life. That was the traditional custom. And in Chinese culture, when it comes to marriage, there has always been a strong emphasis on compatibility between the families. I just read a book about a lady who was in a wealthy family during the Republican China. When she got married, her parents prepared her dowry 36 boxes, including all kinds of furnitures, beddings, seasonal clothes, precious jewelries, and even cups, bowls, and plates. Of course, her husband's family is rich as well. Since they got married, they had a very good and luxury life. Their meals and drinks been arranged by the season. And there has another top news. On our news in China, there has a lady in Shanxi province. When she got married, her parents prepared a dowry. It was totally around 10 million. It has 5.2 million cash and 2 cars, 1 apartment in the center of city. So I just want to show there has no customer side. Nowadays, when people get married, only the man needs to pay a high bride price to the woman. In the history and not long ago, even nowadays, it depends on the woman and the woman's family. We do have a dowry customer as well. When my auntie got married 30 years ago, that was 1990s, I still remembered clearly. My uncle paid a bride price. In fact, that time just to show him and his family the sincerity to my auntie and my grandma and grandpa. And before the day they get married, my grandma and grandpa give a big truck of dowry that was popular in the 90s and 80s. I remember the truck was full. Normally, the man provides the house, so the woman's family provides the furniture and the household appliances. So both of the family just want to help the new family to have a happy life. So those time, the bride price and the dowry are equal, and almost every family can accept. The bride price and the dowries are the blessing and the supporting for the new couple. And in the past few years, some of my cousins got married, and as I know, they paid their wife's family bride price because it is a traditional custom here as well. They paid 10 to 30,000 RMB, and when they get married, their wife bring back a dowry as well. The amount of the bride price and the dowry all depends on the family's real situation, and the proper bride price is acceptable. So there has no laws and rules about giving bride price and dowry, and the law doesn't encourage but also doesn't prohibit the bride price. This is just a social phenomenon exists in the society. But the time changes, the people's think changes. The next is what I really want to talk about, the high bride price. Like at the beginning I mentioned, one of the reasons the people don't want to get married, especially the man, it is because of the high bride price. It's sky high, not just high. So in fact, my point is, proper bride price is acceptable. It is a customer to show the man's attitude, and it also being used as a dowry back to the small family. That's the normal way, so I don't against. But when the sky high bride price happened into the ordinary family, it became a huge burden to the man and the man's family. The rich people, it's not in the topic because the rich people always have a grand wedding. They don't need to worry about the bride price and dowry. But the problem, the serious problem in China now is during the normal family, lots of women and woman's family ask for the high sky bride price from the man and the man's family. And for some area, it starts from the 100,000 RMB, some even like 300, 400 RMB for a normal, ordinary family. That is a huge amount of money. And lots of women will judge their boyfriend according to the bride price they pay. And also some of the woman's parents think they have raised a daughter for over 20 years. It's time for their daughter to support back the family. So their daughter will become other man's wife and a free laborer, have baby for them. So they need some money back to make up to feel better. I guess lots of foreign people couldn't understand or comprehend this thinking, but as a Chinese, I really understand. They do have some parents think this way. They raise up a kid and it's kind of like an investment. They do want something back, but they don't want to admit this. And some women's parents, their thinking will be more strange. They haven't got married, they already thought about if they got divorced, so what should their daughter do? So they must ask for the bride price to ensure their daughter's life if she got divorced. And most time the parents keep the bride price and they won't get back to the daughter. Later I will tell a true story. So for me, I really don't understand if they really don't trust the man and they worry too much why they want their daughter to get married. So the situation now is the high bride price became a huge burden to the man and the man's family. Of course, the man will think about as well. If they get married, he paid a big amount of bride price and he put the woman's name in the house certificate. But if they got divorced, he will lose the wife, lose half of the house and the big amount of the bride price. So if that's the case, I think I will give the more sympathies to the man's side. So the proper bride price and the dowry was a traditional customer about the marriage, but the high sky bride price is not. And I checked on internet. In fact, it just happened around 10 years ago. They have lots of reason behind it. In the past 10-20 years, China has developed very quick. The economic like a rocket. Some area, some people just got rich. And when some people get married, they have money. So they were willing to give more bride price by their heart. Or maybe they just want to show off. Anyway, this just became a social phenomenon and it has been well spread. So the people here, lots of people like blindly comparison. So that's why the bride price has been risen lots in the past few years. And for the ordinary person, ordinary family, the bride price has changed its original meaning. It has been given lots of material meaning. That's why the high sky bride price stopped lots of men get married because they really cannot afford it. That is the fact. For me, as a woman, what I feel strange is the bride price has been risen lots, but seems nobody mentions the dowry thing. It is not a necessary thing now. Before, it was kind of necessary when the young people get married, but nowadays, seems all the marriage pressure are all on the man's shoulder. They need to give a high sky bride price and they need to have an apartment, they need to have a car, so the woman can get married with them. When I am talking about now, I feel pressure if I am a man from an ordinary family. My family cannot afford this. I want to tell you a true story first. And it was the top news in March in China. A young couple got to know each other and start to date. According to marriage agent, after 3 months dating, the two family and them two decided to engage. They signed an agreement of the engagement. The man has to pay the bride price 188,000 RMB to the woman and her family. That day they already paid 100, so the left will be paid before they get married. And also, after they get married 1 year, the woman's name has to be added to the house certificate. Anyway, when I heard this, I was a little bit surprised and shocked, because in my place where I live, my area, my city, I never heard two people before they get married, they will sign an agreement about the engagement and the marriage. For me, that is ridiculous. It's kind of like a pure commercial transaction. Anyway, this is just the thing between the two families. If they can accept, and this is not really against the law. But the problem is, after they signed the agreement, the second day, the man took the woman back to the apartment where they will live when they get married. But the man forced the woman to have sex. So the woman called her mom and told her mom. So her mom was not happy. She called back the man and his family to discuss this. And the woman's mom said, so the thing already happened. So it's better you to just go to registry to get married, and before you get the marriage certificate, you must put my daughter's name on the house certificate. But at last, the man and the man's family didn't do this. So the woman's mom took the man to the court. Over 1 year, so the court decided to put this man to prison of the rape crimes for 3 years. Anyway, this case, we couldn't know all the details, the true details. The final results has a huge impact in the society, and it scared lots of men who are going to get married. And another point that surprised me is this lady, this woman, is already an adult, but she has to listen her parents. So what her life will be. Even though they got married, I guess her parents will control her life all the time. They won't be happy. Anyway, about this case, lots of people are in the man's side. In China, especially the rural areas, when you engaged, it's kind of being accepted. You are a couple. So even they get married, someone always have the right to refuse, and the man maybe still have a chance to go to the prison. So that's why lots of people just has more sympathies to the man. And there has another story still about the bride price. When two young people got married, the man paid a high price to the woman, and the woman's parents said, in case something unexpected happened, so we will keep in charge of the bride price. Anyway, that's still yours. When you need it in future, I will give it back to you. But when they got married, they have kids, so their small family needs money. The woman tried to ask the bride price her husband give to her before they get married. So this woman's mom refused. So after negotiating, no results. So she took her own mom and dad to the court. So at last, the parents returned most part of the bride price to the woman, but this thing really hurt and break the family affections. So after the lady put her story on the internet, lots of women left long comment because this kind of thing happened to them as well. Their parents took the bride price and they don't give price back to them to support their life. And if they ask, the parents just decide they raised her for 20 to 30 years. So she grew up and she went to university. She had her own family. She doesn't feel grateful. So lots of women thought their parents really loved them. But according to the bride price, they know they haven't been loved unconditionally. The girls all felt they kind of like an investment for their family, and their parents do want some benefits back. So that's their bride price. Especially when the family has another boy. Normally, the parents will use a bride price to their boy. In China, this is kind of accepted universally by the entire society. Anyway, there has lots of story kind of like this happened. In all the stories, the bride price did hurt and break or destroy the love, marriage, and family affections. Using the bride price to force a marriage is neither reasonable nor legal. And bride price, the house, are not the guarantee for a happy marriage life. Not even the parents who use the bride price to achieve the economic benefits for themselves. That is definitely against the law. So when the bride price became of a meaning of showing off, competing, cheating, even an excuse to interfere the freedom of the children's marriage, it becomes kind of a culture jaws. It should be abandoned by the society. At last, I just want to clarify. China is very vast, and every province, even every region have kind of traditional customs about the marriage. So it's not every area when the people get married, the woman will ask for a high sky bride price. They also have some women's parents are very open-minded and they don't need a bride price. They just want the young couple have a happy life. Little warm tip. If you are a foreign friend and you are dating a Chinese woman, if you would like to get married with her, it's better you talk with her and learn the thinking of her and her family about the bride price thing. Like I said, in the past around 10 years, the high bride price became a kind of custom of marriage. And it was a product of the society economic development. Nowadays, we do have laws about this, but it's not that clearly and it won't be that easy. For some people, this already been root in their mind. For my opinion, this only can be solved in the further development of the society. How do you think about this? Have a good day. Bye bye.